All right, welcome back to Morning Live. Now, yesterday, government started embarking on the 6th National Imbizo Focus Week. That is from yesterday, the 17th, and it will end on the 23rd of April this year. This is a post-SONA program, and it is aimed to promote participation in the implementation of the National Development Plan. This will be a roadmap towards radical socio-economic transformation. In this week, ministers, deputy ministers and premiers have the opportunity to issues that were raised previously. It is also a platform to inform South Africans about the progress towards the National Development Plan 2030 goals. Joining us to talk about the Imbizo Week, we joined in our studios in Johannesburg by Donald Liphoko. He is the Director General for the Department of Communications. And Dr. Liphoko, good morning to you and thank you so much for coming through.
Good morning, thanks.
Now, this year, the Imbizo Week takes place during a very important month of Freedom Month, just a few days before Freedom Day. But talk to us about the main objective behind these Imbizo Weeks.
The big idea around the Imbizo Weeks is to really engage with citizens, to get a sense from South Africans what their expectations are and how they perceive government service delivery. It also gives us an opportunity to explain government's policies in a very real way by going to communities and pointing to actual projects that are in the neighborhood of those communities. So it is a bridge from the State of the Nation address, where the President starts the year and spells out the priorities of government. And what we're doing now is we're bringing those projects that work to communities so that we can get an assessment of how far we have come, and also to work in partnership. I think the important thing is to draw on the strength of communities to help government to actually implement the programs of government.
And like you said, this is a unique platform where South Africans can actually get to interact with the authorities as well. Yeah. How do they go about doing that? Are they even free to do it without any fear?
Look, I mean, all of our interactions are open. So invariably, we have a couple of models. There's one where we put principles, that's leadership in government in all the three spheres, in stakeholder engagement. So those are much smaller forums where you're talking to fewer people. All the way to much larger format is Imbizo, where we bring people into marquees and communities can engage with leadership on a one-on-one basis.
So it takes in many forms, like your public meetings.
Absolutely, yeah. But the element of it is really about public participation.
Yeah. Now, importantly, so government is looking at all the progress that has been achieved, right, especially towards the National Development Plan 2030 goals.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, to be practical, we want to be addressing in this particular month. You know that we are busy rolling out the first month of payment for social grants. Yeah. And I stand to be corrected, the last payment date is going to be around about the 23rd in KwaZulu-Natal. So, among other things, we'll be assessing our progress in this space. There are many initiatives. One of them is the focus that we are now having on rebuilding the agricultural sector. So we want to be looking at some of the key projects in agriculture and agro-processing specifically, because we think that's an important area where we're going to accelerate jobs in the future. So we're looking at multiple areas that we think South Africans would want to know the progress that South Africa is making as a country.
Yeah, but what happens in an instance whereby the issues that were raised maybe previously, like last year, have not been addressed? What happens in that? Because we do know that challenges of social service delivery are still very much prominent.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And the reality of it is as follows. When we have these Imbizo, the idea is to not only speak to communities, but to also listen to some of their concerns. And what we do is we will then collate those concerns, and where we can find the resources, we address them by making sure that we put action plans in place to resolve many of the issues that have been raised. Now, often when the issues are localized, it's much easier to intervene with a package of interventions that can make a difference. Where things are more complicated is where we have a much more longer-term social impact, like employment. That requires many more actors, and the interventions tend to require multiple ways of addressing them. So, it could be education that we would need to invest in order to make sure that young people out of that specific area are able to participate in the economy.
And that is whereby feedback is very necessary to go back to those community and tell them how far government has come. All right, now we'll leave it at that. Ntate Liphoko, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. There you have it. That's the Director General from the Communications Department, Donald Liphoko, talking to us about the National Imbizo Focus Week. It started yesterday and it will end on the 23rd of April. Let's take a break here on Morning Live. There's still so much more to come.